A tremendous pleasure to be speaking with you today.
Now back to the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show on AM800.
All right, back on this show here. It is 12:34 on AM800. Kathy Talbot in studio with me. And Kathy should also remind everybody, if they're looking to make a move, well, the Dan Gemus team can help, can't we?
I'm pretty sure that we can help. I would love doing it. And you can reach us everywhere.
That's right. You can find us on our website, dangemus.com, where you can give our office a call 7 days a week at 519-566-5565. We service everything across Windsor-Essex County. So you name it. If it's in Windsor-Essex County, we can help. And we have team members that can come out to your direction. So before we get too far, Kath, it's time for our segment with your good friend, Chris Gibb from Gibb Insurance Brokers. Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm very, very good. How is Kathy today?
Kathy is awesome. I love September.
That is fantastic. And Dan, you as well? Everything's going well?
You don't care about me, Chris. It's fine. It's fine. It's going fine.
True. It is true. I do have I believe it's written in my contract that I will only call in when Kathy is on the air.
It really is.
All right. I love it.
She gets excited when she comes on and she's like, oh, Chris is on. Yay.
Yes, I feel special.
Oh, my goodness. So what's happening in the wonderful world of insurance, Chris?
Well, you know, there's something that we're noticing more and more on people's home insurance that I thought your listeners may find interesting. As we all know, one of the biggest challenges for property insurance in Ontario is water damage. Water damage claims from, whether it comes up from the ground or down from the sky. That's the really, really big challenge right now. And we're noticing a lot of home insurance companies are starting to increase the deductible for water damage claims at renewal. So as most people know, generally most people out there have a $1,000 deductible if they have a claim on the property. It's pretty standard in the industry today. But we're seeing a lot of companies are setting up a second deductible specific to water damage claims or hail damage claims that could be $2,000 or $2,000 or $2,500. So I just want your listeners to really, put that in the back of their mind, because when they get that insurance renewal, read it over, because you don't want to be surprised that, you thought you had $1,000 deductible and then they say, well, for this type of claim, you've got a different deductible.
Boy, oh boy.
So if it changes on your insurance, they don't notify you? You just have to figure that out yourself?
No, they notify you. Excuse me. Legally, they have to notify you, but it'll be, on a page in a package of 15
Oh, yeah, okay.
that you may not realize. Some companies send a specific letter, but more often than not, they'll put what they think is proper notice in the renewal package.
I don't know about you, Kath, but I read every single word on every single paper of those packets that come in the mail.
Oh, Kathy, I can attest. Dan Gemus certainly reads all the numbers on the page.
I think actually Chris is referring to a phone call we had this week. I'm like, Chris, on one of our bazillion policies, I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Can you, what's going on?
I like how you used what the heck on the radio. Yeah. That's good.
Oh, shoot. Well,
yeah,
that's what Chris gets. Chris does all of our insurance stuff from home to work to office to vehicles to businesses. He gets a lot of questions from me.
Yeah.
Questions are good.
It is good, yeah. And again, that's the challenge right now is prices are going up because the cost of claims are going up. So by implementing these I'll call them secondary deductibles for specific claims, it allows the insurance companies to sort of try and mitigate their costs, and then that way they can mitigate the premium that they're charging you. So it's all a balancing act.
Now, let's stick with water damage, Chris, in the basement. Is it a fair question to ask, what is the average coverage on someone's policy? Like, do a lot of people have unlimited basement coverage, or is it typically capped at, $20 or $30 or $40 or $50,000? What are you typically seeing out in policies?
Typically for sewer backup coverage, we're seeing, if I had to put a number on it, I would say you're in the $30,000 range.
Now, how often, if someone has a claim, in your experience, does the policy, that $30,000, not cover what is needed? Like by the time, because we've had an issue in the past. It's been 20 years now, but where we had some water in our basement, and a lot of our coverage was eaten up by the cleanup.
Yes. Yeah, the cleanup can certainly eat up most of your coverage, because the phenomenon when you have, it's generally you don't have one basement in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
you
it's a
have
whole bunch.
Yeah, literally hundreds of basements. So the insurance companies have to bring people in from out of town. They're paying overtime. Your costs just triple. So yeah, your emergency cleanup in many cases can eat up the vast majority of your coverage, because you can't let it stay wet. Then you're going to get mold.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I just had a conversation with a customer this past week who was not happy with his renewal premium. So I said, well, let's sit down and let's look at some options. And I said, well, your policy gives unlimited coverage for sewer backup and flooding. We can go to another company that would give us $50,000 coverage and would be significantly cheaper. And this customer chose to stay where he was at, because he said, I can't afford to do it myself. I can't afford to take on that risk. So it's a balancing act. It's a business decision. People have to see what they're willing to pay for and what they're willing to absorb as far as risk goes.
Well, and really, in a situation like that, where they go from unlimited to, $50,000 coverage, does it make a big difference in the premium?
Oh, it can. It can make, it can make a big difference in the premium. And then it can also make a difference just in the, not for that specific coverage, but different companies have different pricing. So one may have free coverage for sewer backup, but their base prices are higher. So you really have to shop around and customize it for your situation.
Boy, oh boy. So we've already talked about the trend. The trend is prices are increasing. There's no doubt about it. And we hear it from everyone, right? We hear from everyone. Everyone's feeling it, from house to auto to every single aspect. Somebody actually asked me this past week, because we were talking about auto theft. And there was a person who had visited out in Australia and said that, they don't have a huge auto theft issue in Australia. I said, well, maybe because there's nowhere to, where do you have to ship everything? Well, they do here too. The cars go away on ships, but they don't have as big of an issue in Australia as we do here in Canada. But do you see things getting worse? What is the industry expecting to happen over the next few years? Has there been any recommendations, or are auto companies making any changes? What's happening from that aspect?
Well, before I answer that, the only thing I know about Australia is from the movie Crocodile Dundee, and I think I would never steal a car from what was it, Nick Dundee or Mick Dundee? Remember that movie? So,
amazing!
But seriously, I mean, it's a growing problem, but there's also people are starting to react to it, and in 2022, there was a record number of vehicle thefts across Canada. It was $1 billion in vehicle thefts in 2022. 2023 was actually, believe it or not, $1.5 billion. So you can see the trend is scary, very scary. So, the insurance industry, the law enforcement, the governments have started to address this issue. I think in the past, it was sort of seen as a victimless crime. Somebody steals your car to your driveway, insurance pays, off you go. Where now we're starting to see this is hitting people in the pocketbook. It's starting to affect premiums. It's actually starting to affect them very significantly. If you go out and you buy a big SUV, I've seen companies that are actually surcharging up to $1,500 because of high theft SUVs. So it's starting to get everybody involved in the industry. It's starting to address the issue. Industry and government can never pivot as fast as criminals and organized crime, but they're starting to address it slowly. But it's not going to reverse. I think at best case scenario, we can keep it from getting worse.
Fingers crossed. right?
Yeah.
Fingers
What a
crossed.
world.
Yeah, what a world for sure. Chris, if anyone has questions about insurance, if they want to get a quote, when's the best time to call your office? Is it as you're about to expire, a couple weeks away, a couple months away? What do you recommend?
I always recommend you generally you should be getting your renewal paperwork from your insurance company 60 to 45 days before the renewal. That's the time to call. When you get that paper in the mail, that's the time to call the office and shop it around and ask your questions, because that gives us enough time to see what else is out there, maybe ask some follow-up questions, and really customize a plan that suits you where you're at in your insurance life cycle. So as soon as you get those papers, put them on the desk, bring them to work the next morning, and on your first break, give the office a call at 519-736-8228. And
Fantastic.
Danielle and Emily. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Danielle and Emily are fantastic. They're truly amazing.
Oh, they are. They really make up for my deficiency. So
They really, well,
you
almost.
have
It's a big makeup to have to, whew. Now, before I let you go, Chris, I always like to ask, you are Deputy Mayor of the town of Amherstburg. What's happening out that way?
well, we've got a big council meeting a week from Monday. Going to be talking about town halls. Going to be talking about strategic plan. A lot of forward-thinking, future planning for the town of Amherstburg. So we're kind of getting out of putting out the fires, and now we're starting to plan for the future. The big thing is obviously Uncommon Festival next weekend. Going to be huge. Everybody's excited. Huge, like a Donald Trump rally. Huge,
Bigly.
bigly.
Yeah, it's always a great weekend in Amherstburg, and so much going on that weekend as well. So the 20th to 22nd.
Yes, and I mean it's open to everybody. It's family friendly. There's no cost to attend, so it's really it hits all the marks. Everybody in Windsor and Essex County should check it out. And this year, council approved the Windsor to Amherstburg bus route. You can ride the bus for free, so you don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about driving. You can hop on a Transit Windsor bus and come out to Amherstburg at no cost.
Something else I'm very excited about, Chris, is they've been announcing that we will have the first drone show.
Yes.
Which is so exciting. That's really cool.
Yeah, a drone light show. I've heard people talk about these. I've never seen one myself. Very exciting, very innovative. It's something people say may become more popular than fireworks shows. So we'll have to see. Amherstburg is the first place in the region that's having this. So just another reason to come out to Amherstburg. Drone shows and popcorn.
You got it, Rich and Popcorn for sure. Now listen, people can learn more about the Uncommon Festival. Go search online, Uncommon Festival Amherstburg, or go to visit amherstburg.ca. All the information is there as well. So Chris, what's the best way to reach out to your team over at Gibb Insurance if they have insurance questions?
Insurance questions is 736-8228, obviously 519-736-8228, or shoot me an email, chris@gibbinsurance.ca.
Chris at gibbinsurance.ca. Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
All the best, Dan, and Kathy. Keep him on the right track for the rest of the hour.
That's hard. That's really, truly tough. All right, Chris. Talk to you in a couple weeks.
He's got butter tarts with raisins waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my gosh. All right, Chris Gibb from Gibb Insurance Brokers and Kathy's Butter Tarts. You really can't go wrong, Kathy. You really can't go wrong.
Have a great weekend, Chris.
And yes, there you go. So listen, we're going to give away the Richmond Popcorn Company gift card after the break here, Kath. What do you say? Caller number?
6.
Caller number 6 right now, 519-792-2559, 519-792-CKLW. Lots more to come right here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.